Reflecting on watching Blue's Clues on television in the 1990s decade and 2000s decade. Today is Thursday, September 2025, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, reflect on watching Blue's Clues on television when I was growing up in the 1990s decade and the 2000s decade, including allocated time with my friends, accommodating preschool time through to later on my own when in middle school. Yeah, so it started in the 1990s, and I was born in the 1990s, and and so it was cool. I was born approximately 1993, and so this is one that was part of my, I think it was preschool, and we'd, after preschool, would go to, like, there was a family, there were a few families, but there was one family that stands out for Blue's Clues in particular. I'd go to, and it was a family that I also went to church with, and we would watch Blue's Clues, and they'd be like, you know, can we does anybody want lunch or anything like that? And so I would go with a tuna sandwich. That was my toddler me, 3-year-old me kind of thing, liked a tuna fish sandwich. And I really liked eating at their house because they did something that only they did, and it was tuna fish with pickles. And I loved it. And so it was like, it was cool because that's not how my family made tuna fish sandwiches. So I was like, it's the perk of having friends. And I really enjoyed it. It was this is a show that I just really, really adored. We had pet cats and dogs and rodents and stuff, and growing up. And so this is one where it was fun that there was, you know, Blue is a dog. And so Blue and, you know, the owner are out there trying to kind of solve riddles and put clues together, or, you know, find the Blue's Clues, clues for Blue. So it was fun. So I watched it in preschool, elementary school, and then I think in middle school I had would be at home. I was the youngest. I'm youngest human offspring and not the only human offspring. So, you know, I would be at home and it would just be me at home, kind of age differential. And it'd be like the summer, and there'd be like, I had like athletic activities. However, it did not occupy the day. And I was not a club swimmer, not a year-round swimmer, not training for some big competition or anything, that kind of stuff. So I would turn on TV and Blue's Clues would be on, and it was something I realized, like, even in middle school I enjoyed watching because it was a non-intrusive show. And it was like I could kind of choose to engage or not. I could choose to try and guess what the answer to the riddle or the puzzle might be, but I could also choose not to. And so, you know, I could look at the TV guide that came out in the newspaper, and it would be like, what's on TV? You know, it would be like Blue's Clues or a talk show, and I was like, a talk show is about as intrusive as they come, right, by comparison. And I was like, I want to enjoy my TV. And so that was Blue's Clues. And I was like, you know, you know how talk shows go. I'd go on and be like, Tanis Leonhardi, you're Italian, 0 parts Italian. Italian cuisine is 0 parts my cuisine. My last name is Roman German, so wrong language, wrong ethnicity, wrong food. No Italian here. So it was just kind of a, so if they even knew who I was and know that I'm not Italian, it'd be disrespectful. And this is just kind of the tone of talk shows. And I was like, Blue's Clues wasn't disrespectful. So it was cool because it allowed for dual roles of a spectator. A spectator could just watch, or a spectator could watch and kind of be part of the clue solving. So I thought a spectator could be a viewer, but a spectator could be a viewer and a detective if they wanted to. So I was like, okay, extrapolate to dual roles for myself now. So 1, physiology, cardiology for David Beckham. 2, PhD in condensed matter physics, so physics but condensed matter, in Norway, Scotland, or Ireland. Do I run the risk of a conflict of interest at any point? Perhaps dual-use materials with physiology applications. Dual-use materials can be used for basic science and weapons development, such as the mineral ilmenite. Yes, a lot of modern day electronics, the basic technology there. It's great when electronics advances because it allows for weapons advancement too. So like buying a big electric vehicle or other electronics actually helps promote weapons development, military science, that kind of thing as well. And if you didn't know. And so there's that. But how does the conflict of interest part relate to Blue's Clues? Well, it doesn't if you haven't seen it before, the episode before. But if you've seen the episode before, then you know what's coming. So there can be a conflict of interest of like being the detective and like, well, then keep it to yourself, right? Which is something that some of the people when I was really little, like preschool, elementary school level, some people that, you know, had already seen all the episode 5 times, so they wouldn't say as much because they already knew the answers to the riddles. So that actually did factor into watching Blue's Clues. The conflict of interest. So it's a great show to kind of learn about that and like the social dynamics of like, once you already know the answer, you don't speak. Or it's disrespectful. And so tend to have that ingrained at me at a very, 3-year-old, 4-year-old me age. It's kind of, it's a great show, a great television, well thought out. So that's reflecting on watching Blue's Clues on television in the 1990s decade and 2000s decade.